Tennessee's wild side, broadcast for nearly 2 decades, was originally created through a vision of the Jackson Foundation. The foundation remains a supportive partner in the mission to educate viewers about wildlife, natural resources, and opportunities for outdoor adventure.
Hi friends, welcome to the Wild Side. I'm Steve Hall. They call themselves the Possum people. And yes, they realize how unusual it is, how it sounds, and the preconceived prejudices many of us have for the nocturnal marsupials. But even the most squeamish among us, watching them trying to cross the road at night, can be converted.
On a dead-end street beside a little white house beyond a wooden fence is an out-of-the-ordinary backyard. But the owner of Opie Acres is a passionate and eccentric character who has turned this little 3-acre wooded lot into the most unique wildlife sanctuary.
I came from a very abusive background, and so animals were my go-to. They were the one thing that I knew that I could count on to give unconditional love.
The animal he feels most at home with, and the one he's dedicated his entire life to saving, is not really a normal choice, but he's not a stereotypical tree hugger.
Possums seem to be the ones that were the most misunderstood and the most neglected, and so they became a symbol for me of the ultimate underdog, So there was a connection there, if it makes sense, between, being an underdog and being in an abusive situation to the animal that was kind of a representation of that. Other than that, they're just darn cute. So
Cute is not a term often associated with possums, but Jerry Harvey is so charming in his presentation of North America's only marsupial that he can have you feeling sorry for them within a matter of minutes.
They have very poor eyesight. They're nocturnal, so they're out at night trying to feed themselves and feed their babies. And people throw things on the side of the road, other animals get hit in the road, and so they're drawn by those smells. What little eyesight they have is actually diminished by the headlights, so they do get hit pretty frequently because of that.
These are orphan possums. The mom was killed a few nights ago. These babies are the only 2 survivors. We actually have a pouch in here that they stay in, much like their mom. And these are about 80 grams.
The infants have to be fed through a feeding tube. It is possible to feed them with a syringe, but there's a very high chance of aspiration, getting the fluid into their lungs, because they don't suckle. Any other mammal, cats, dogs, raccoons, fox, all of those animals suckle. Possums don't do that. They actually attach to the mother inside the pouch.
On the day we were here, Opie Acres had about 51 infants and 30 adults, not yet ready for release, but most all of them will be.
We release about 90% of the animals that come here. We have properties all over the state of Tennessee that people own. They have given us permission to bring the animals there. They're really one of the best animals that you can have on your property because they will kill and eat most any vermin like mice or rats, that sort of thing. They actually will kill and eat venomous snakes because they are immune to snake venom. And probably the most amazing thing about them is they will eat more than 5,000 ticks a year, which helps control Lyme disease.
Okay, if there's one thing I'm totally creeped out by, it's possums. I cannot stand to see them anywhere, any place, even crossing the road in front of my truck. Totally, they look so mean and so nasty. But I am going to come out of this box and I'm taking you with me. Hi, sister. Hi there.
The main things that people think about possums is they're diseased, they're nasty, they're gross, so on and so forth, and it is literally the opposite of that. When you see possums, yes, they're dirty, they're filthy, but they've been in the woods, they've been in a ditch, they've been in a creek, they've been under a car, but actually they're very clean animals. They groom themselves constantly. They don't carry any diseases that are harmful to people except for parasites, of course, and any animal in the wild is going to have parasites. And you know, they don't have rabies. Can they get rabies? Yes. Is it likely? No. You're more likely to get hit by lightning than they are to get rabies because their body temperature is too low to carry the disease. And they're actually very docile, very family oriented, and very sweet animals.
I think so. I'm a possum person. I found my place. I found my little family with possum people. I fit in here. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I love it. I do. I mean, I live in Georgia, so I drive over an hour.
The volunteers at Opie Acres are just as exceptional as the one whose enthusiasm for possums literally gives them this unusual opportunity.
I just love the possums. I love helping something. I like to help things. So this is a great way to help the environment and to help other creatures. And it's just fun. It's rewarding when you get in a little baby that's 20 grams and you raise it and then you get to go and release it. You feel like you've accomplished something. That's the reward. And what do I hate? Poop. I mean, honestly, I hate the poop. And it's like huge around here, but yeah.
Opie Acres is a nonprofit organization overseen by a board of directors. It is licensed by the United States Department of Agriculture and permitted by Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. There are rigid requirements and strict guidelines for all that goes on here, with rescue, rehabilitate, and release as the primary purposes for this rare refuge.
They have to be able to climb well. They have to be afraid of people and other animals. They have to be able to build a nest, for example, and they have to be able to forage for food. And once they pass all those tests, we will just release them.
But there are possums like Miss Posey who live their lives as educational animals. She would most likely never be able to survive in the wild, so she will not be released.
She has metabolic bone disease and she's dwarfed strictly from a poor diet. And the woman who raised her loved her, and she had no idea, of course, that she was doing anything wrong. And then when she realized something was very wrong with her, she found us and brought her to us.
And while no one at Opie Acres advocates or condones wildlife as pets, they do have to handle them in order to help.
Occasionally you get one that is just not going to have it. But most of the time, within 2 or 3 days, a possum will go, soft, fluffy bed, lots of food, tasty medicine. I like this. And so they get habituated to people very easily.
If I lived here,
Look, we have a convert.
We have a convert.
Oh, completely. Look at that little tail. It's a little sweetness. It's a little sweetness.
hurt, do you?
I'm sold. I'm sold. Go sleepy. So cute. Look at you. Look at you. Isn't he cute?
It's rewarding work for a survivor of abuse, helping the ones that can't help themselves, loving the neglected and misunderstood.
He had frostbite as a baby and lost all of his toes, 2 of his feet, and his tail. She got an infection in the tip of her tail, so it irritates her, and she will nibble at it and lick at it so it gets infected. So we are just doing general wound care with surgical scrub and medications, and then we'll wrap it to keep her from fooling with it until it heals. Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen in your whole life?
She needs glasses.
She does need glasses. She can't help it. So I look like Uncle Fester.
The hours are long and the budget is small, but hundreds of injured possums have nowhere else to go. And so little temporary houses continue to crop up in the woods at Opie Acres. In Chattanooga, I'm Annette Knoll-Hall on the Wild Side.
You don't have to hug a possum or even handle one in order to appreciate them. But you don't have to play dead either. You're welcome to make your way to our website, wildsidetv.com, for more information about possums and Opie Acres.
Tennessee's Wild Side has been a presentation of the Jackson Foundation in association with Rockwater TV.